So, hello everyone. My name's Mark, aka Marco.
And I'm Bethel, aka Bella, and together we're Marco Bella. So, if you watched our last video on Valentine's Day, when we said we don't celebrate Valentine's Day, we are aware that some of you out there love Valentine's Day. And since it's Love Week, today we're going to be talking about what is the most romantic thing that your partner, husband or wife, has ever done for you. So let's start with Mark. Well, no, actually, let's start with me because I'm the least romantic of us two. So you go first so that I don't look bad.
That's what I was going to say, because I'm going to play the cricket. But anyway, Bethel, what's the most romantic thing? I mean, because I can imagine there must be...
The most romantic thing I've ever done for you?
Yeah.
I don't know. Things that I find romantic, you don't find romantic. So I don't know, you go. What do you think the most romantic thing I've done for you is?
Well, actually, do you know what? To be fair on Bethel, there are things that I think she's done that I've really appreciated. For instance, when we were still in our courtship, she wrote in one of my journals. So I journal a lot, so she wrote in one of my journals.
It wasn't this one particularly.
It wasn't this one in particular, but the one that she wrote in, it was very sweet because she just wrote, whatever it is, because at the time I think I must have been going through something, and I just opened some random page because it was in the middle of the book. You know, she randomly wrote in there without me knowing, and it said, whatever it is, whatever you're going through, I'll be right by your side. And I remember when I read that, I just thought, wow, it really spoke to me. Just showed me that actually she was committed to, being there for me and with me, through thick and thin. So for me, that was really romantic.
To be honest with you, obviously I meant it, but I didn't know he was going to class that as one of the most romantic things. Like when we were going through this, when we were planning, I was like, I think the cake was pretty romantic though. And he's like, no, it's just that little note that
so Bethel baked me this cake. It was made of a guitar, because obviously I was a guitar, I'm a musician, so...
He plays bass guitar and acoustic.
Yeah, so the cake was a guitar, and it took about 9 hours. Yeah, 9 hours.
Specific.
I wonder if she's got the picture, but I'll have a look. But it took her 9 hours to actually make this cake.
And I remember intricate with all the strings and the little thing.
And that was sweet. To be fair, at the time I remember thinking, oh my goodness, this girl is just besotted.
Yeah, to be honest, to spend 9 hours on something, obviously that whole 9 hours you're thinking about that person. So. But
I think the good thing is he was obviously reciprocated in that, it wasn't like one-way traffic. I did things for her equally. But there's one more that I just wanted to mention, and this is the most recent one. So Bethel got one of these. And
didn't know what it was.
You're probably wondering what it is, because I love words, and for me, words of affirmation is one of my love languages.
It's one of his main love languages.
And so she got me one of these little numbers, and it came all the way from, I believe, Australia.
Yeah.
Is that so? So it's got pictures. I'll just show it to you. So it's got a bow, and it's got all of our pictures.
It's called the Note Cube for anybody that wants to get one of these for their partners.
Yep. And it's got a picture on the front of a time that we were in courtship or something, and then it has a little note. I'll probably put that just so you can see it clearly. But, this note, for example, says, I appreciate you for bringing out the best in me. This picture marked the beginning of it all, and I've truly blossomed in your care. So she wrote that, and
there's loads of them, 60.
Yeah,
I think there's
60 odd pictures
of specific pictures.
Actually, could be more.
Moments from
from
times.
Absolutely.
We've been together, and then
so,
he was in awe, because that did take me a long time, and I had to be really sneaky about it because I was using our computer, and so I'll be spending hours in the night trying to do this, and
and this one says, it takes two to tango, two to kiss, two to talk and reminisce. So many good things come in twos, and one of them is me and you. Ooh, check you out.
I still can't believe that I did that. But thank you to the Note Cube, and thank you to Instagram for me finding it on there, because I was like, oh my gosh, that is so good. So sometimes I struggle with coming up with unique ideas, which Mark is so good at. So is it my turn now to talk about how romantic you are?
It's your turn to talk about how romantic you are.
So basically,
thank
from
you,
day
Bethel,
dot Mark has been like super romantic. He always does these like little things. Like he made like this book from like candle wax. I should have it all here, but it's all in my memory box, and I don't even know where I've put my memory box right now because we recently moved house.
It's in the garage.
It's in the garage.
In a special place.
In a special place. But yeah, so he made this like little book from like candle wax because he's an artist as well. And then it has like little note in it and stuff like that. It's like tiny little miniature book. Then he made this like little vase with like wax and a flower in it.
Yep.
And then like just little things like that, just little love notes that he'd put inside like my lunchbox, like this size, you know, little small little envelopes, things like that. Like you'd put like notes in the fridge, like little things like that.
I think I'm going to bring the halo in a minute.
Yeah, he's very romantic, so that's why I struggle, because I'm like, oh my gosh, I cannot match up to this guy with his romance. But then I think, oh yeah, like our engagement, because I studied drama, that was my first degree, and like I always said to him, I would love to get proposed to on stage, like somebody just come up and like just propose. And then
she's all about the big stuff. When it comes to theatre, that is.
So he actually did that. He actually spoke to the theatre manager and he was like, oh, can I borrow the stage? And then...
Well, if any of you have ever heard of the Swan, I tried to go on stage in London, but unfortunately they couldn't actually do that for health and safety reasons.
Yes.
And so we had to
liability insurance and stuff
absolutely,
like that.
absolutely.
But he got the whole theatre out to himself, and I just thought we were just mucking about and we were just doing lines and stuff like that. Next thing, guy pops a ring out. I'm like, ah!
And she didn't know because the family was actually in the stands and stuff like that.
Yeah, he got the family to hide,
was,
like behind the curtains and stuff like that, which is so cool. So then after when he popped the question, then it all popped out, and I was like, yay! So that was so romantic. But I would say the most romantic thing Mark's ever done for me is this. I know, like
it says Paul.
This Paul, he gave me Paul. This bag is like my most treasured possession. If there was a fire in the house, I would run for this, and it always stays on the bookshelf. I know exactly where it is. I would run for this because it is so precious to me. Basically, what it is if you've watched the video that we did about long distance relationships, we talked about it. It is letters, right, that Mark wrote for me in advance of me going to America when I was studying abroad. So he wrote one page was him, and then he left a blank page for me to write back to him. So it is literally like a documentation of our entire dating life while I was abroad, and it is just, you can't put a price on this. It was so romantic. Still up to today, sometimes I go back and read it and go, oh my gosh, this is what we were thinking 12 years ago.
12 years ago.
Now, and it's just like, wow, it's amazing to be able to like look back and have all of that. So that is hands down the most romantic thing Mark has ever done for me.
Well, I was going to say, I think it comes down to, you know, because most people are probably thinking, oh my goodness, there have to be these really extraordinary gifts, you know, put a lot of thought into it. But I think what happens is the more you think about the person, the more you're able to tap into that space of what would be meaningful to them. So it doesn't have to be anything big. It could be something small.
It doesn't have to be expensive as well.
The other day I remember I said to Bethel, you know,
really want a pasta bake.
I really want a pasta bake. And that's what I was thinking, just wishing for. No. And I went upstairs and I was doing something else, and I came down, she said, dinner's ready. And when I came down, she'd actually made pasta bake. And I was like, yes. It was so sweet. And I was just like, thank you.
I can be romantic sometimes.
So for me, that was romantic.
Yeah, and I guess like the lesson from this is like, romance is subjective. Don't try and be like, oh, Marco did this for Bella, like you should do this for me. No. Like, you have your own thing as a couple that's gonna, you know, that you're gonna find romantic. Like, I didn't know that Mark found that little note that I wrote in his notebook, one of the most romantic things I've ever done for him. That was like, I wouldn't even have remembered that, you know.
It was an everyday occurrence, an everyday thing that just, you know, you randomly did, but meant so much to me. And in terms of resources, where else you could actually get some ideas? So we, as you know, we love to read, and there's a book called The Love List. And I think what's great about this book, again, is one of those, I will put a link in the description box. So the thing about this book, it does actually talk about all the different ways in which you could learn to love your partner and show just how much you appreciate them.
That's it.
Take some time to actually read that.
And we would like to know what the most romantic thing your partner's ever done for you. So comment, send us, you know, whatever, email, whatever you like, however you like to respond. But we would love to know that and get some tips. I especially. And also, please like and subscribe if you like our content and you want to see more. Hit the notification button so that you're notified when we post a new video.